I was coming back from my morning walk when I saw the pile of belongings on the front lawn. At first, I thought maybe someone in the neighborhood was having a garage sale. Then I got closer and realized those were my things. My reading chair. My photo albums. My late husband's tools. My grandmother's china. All of it scattered across the grass like trash, with a handwritten sign propped against my suitcase. Free junk, take what you want. Cassandra was standing on the front porch with her arms crossed, watching me take in the scene. My son Daniel was nowhere to be seen, probably already at work, blissfully unaware of what his wife had done while he was gone. "Good morning, Helen," Cassandra called out cheerfully. "I did some spring cleaning." I walked up to the pile and picked up one of my photo albums. Pictures of Daniel as a baby, of my late husband Tom teaching him to fish, of family vacations and Christmas mornings. All considered junk by the woman my son had married 2 years ago. "Cassandra, what is this?" "It's exactly what it looks like," she said, not moving from the porch. "I'm reclaiming my house. Tom's been dead for 3 years, Daniel and I have been married for 2, and you've been treating this place like it's still yours." I looked around at the neighbors who were starting to gather. Mrs. Rodriguez from next door was standing on her porch, looking horrified. The teenage boy from across the street was slowly riding his bike past, staring at the spectacle. "These are my personal belongings," I said quietly. "These are reminders of a life that's over," Cassandra corrected. "Daniel and I are trying to build our own family, our own traditions, and every room in this house is cluttered with dead people's memories." What Cassandra didn't know was that the house she was so eager to reclaim wasn't actually hers. When Tom died, I'd transferred the deed into a family trust that I controlled. Daniel and Cassandra thought they'd inherited the house, but legally, I was still the owner. I'd let them believe otherwise because I wanted to see how they'd treat me when they thought they held all the power. Now I knew. "I also changed the locks," Cassandra announced, jingling a new set of keys. "I think it's time for you to find your own place. Somewhere more appropriate for a woman your age." "Where is Daniel?" I asked. "Daniel agrees with me," Cassandra said with a satisfied smile. "We talked about it last night. He's tired of tiptoeing around your feelings. Tired of living in a museum dedicated to his dead father." I picked up my husband's toolbox, feeling the weight of 40 years of home repairs and weekend projects. Tom had taught Daniel how to use every tool in that box. Apparently, those lessons didn't include respect for the people who loved you. "The nursing home on Elm Street has a waiting list," Cassandra continued, "but I hear Sunset Manor has immediate openings. It's not as nice, but it's probably more in your price range." Price range? As if she had any idea what my price range actually was. "You know what, Cassandra?" I said, setting down the toolbox. "You're absolutely right. It's time for changes." I walked to my truck, the one I'd parked at the curb because Cassandra had insisted I couldn't use their driveway anymore, and started loading my belongings. Each item told a story. The reading chair where I'd nursed Daniel through chicken pox. The china where we'd served his first girlfriend dinner. The photo albums documenting every important moment of his life. All of it now labeled as junk by the woman he'd chosen over his mother. Mrs. Rodriguez came over to help me load boxes. "Helen, I can't believe she did this to you. Do you have somewhere to go?" "I'll be fine," I assured her. "I have options." What I had was a luxury condo downtown that I'd bought 6 months ago under my investment company's name. What I also had was the signed foreclosure papers in my purse that would take effect the moment I made one phone call. "Make sure you take everything," Cassandra called from the porch. "I don't want to find any forgotten items that I'll have to throw away later." I loaded the last box and closed the tailgate. Several neighbors had gathered now, some helping, others just watching the show. The humiliation was complete and public, exactly as Cassandra had intended. "I think that's everything," I said. Cassandra came down from the porch and did a theatrical inspection of the lawn. "Good. Now we can finally move forward with our lives without living in the past." I got in my truck and rolled down the window. "You're absolutely right about moving forward, Cassandra. In fact, I think you'll be moving forward much sooner than you expected." She looked confused, but I was already driving away. I pulled over 3 blocks away and made the phone call I'd been dreading for months. "Peterson and Associates, this is Margaret." "Margaret, this is Helen Morrison. I need you to execute the foreclosure proceedings on 847 Maple Street. Today. Are you certain, Mrs. Morrison? Once we file these papers, there's no going back. I'm certain. How long before the notice is served? 2 hours, maximum. The sheriff's department has been standing by. Do it. I drove to my downtown condo and spent the afternoon arranging my belongings in my new home. The photo albums looked perfect on the built-in shelves. My reading chair fit perfectly by the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the river. Tom's tools went into the storage unit I'd rented, waiting for the day when maybe Daniel would come to his senses and want them. At 3:17 p.m., my phone rang. Mom? Mom, where are you? Daniel's voice was panicked. I just got home and Cassandra is hysterical. There's a sheriff's deputy here with some kind of legal notice. What kind of legal notice? I asked calmly. Foreclosure. It says we have 30 days to vacate the property. But that's impossible, right? We own this house. Dad left it to me. Actually, Daniel, your father left the house to a family trust. A trust that I control. There was a long silence. What do you mean? I mean the house was never yours. I allowed you and Cassandra to live there because I thought you'd treat it, and me, with respect. Mom, I don't understand. Are you saying you own our house? I'm saying I own the house that your wife just evicted me from. The house where she put my belongings on the lawn with a free junk sign. The house where she changed the locks to keep me out. I could hear Cassandra in the background, her voice getting higher and more frantic as she talked to the sheriff's deputy. She can't do this. Cassandra was screaming. We live here. We've been paying the mortgage. Actually, I said to Daniel, you haven't been paying a mortgage. You've been paying rent to the family trust. Rent that I'm now terminating due to breach of contract. What breach of contract? The lease agreement you signed specified that the property was to be maintained as a harmonious family residence. Evicting family members and putting their belongings on the lawn with insulting signs constitutes a clear violation. Daniel was quiet for a moment. Mom, please. Cassandra made a mistake. She was frustrated and she acted without thinking. We can fix this. Can you? Can you fix the fact that your wife called my life's memories junk? Can you fix the humiliation of having my neighbors watch while she threw me out like garbage? We'll apologize. We'll make it right. How, Daniel? By letting me move back into the house that I've owned all along? By pretending your wife didn't show me exactly what she thinks of me? Cassandra grabbed the phone. Mrs. Morrison, please don't do this. I'm sorry about this morning. I was having a bad day and I took it out on you. A bad day, I repeated. You had a bad day, so you decided to humiliate your mother-in-law in front of the entire neighborhood. I'll do anything to make this right. Anything. Anything. Yes, anything. I pulled out the real estate listing I'd prepared weeks ago. The house is going on the market Monday morning. Asking price is $340,000. If you'd like to purchase it, you can submit an offer through a licensed realtor. $340,000. Cassandra's voice cracked. We don't have that kind of money. Then I guess you'll be moving out. Daniel took the phone back. Mom, you can't be serious. Where are we supposed to go? I hear Sunset Manor has immediate openings, I said, echoing Cassandra's words from that morning. It's not as nice as some places, but it's probably more in your price range. That's a nursing home. I'm sure they have apartments too. Or maybe you could look for a nice rental property. There are several available downtown. What I didn't tell him was that I owned 4 of those rental properties through my investment company. Properties that would suddenly have very strict qualification requirements for potential tenants. How long do we have? Daniel asked quietly. The foreclosure notice gives you 30 days, but since this is my property, I can extend that if needed. Let's say 60 days to find new housing. Cassandra was crying in the background. Mrs. Morrison, please. I know I messed up, but don't punish Daniel for my mistake. I'm not punishing Daniel, I said. I'm teaching both of you that actions have consequences. You treated me like junk, so now you get to find out what it feels like to have your life turned upside down. But where will we get the money for a security deposit and first month's rent? Daniel asked. That's interesting, I said. This morning, Cassandra was very concerned about me finding appropriate housing in my price range. I assumed that meant you'd already researched the local rental market. The line was quiet except for Cassandra's sobbing. I'll be in touch about the showing schedule, I continued. Prospective buyers will want to see the property, so please keep it clean and presentable. Mom, wait. I hung up and sat in my reading chair, looking out at the river. Somewhere across town, Daniel and Cassandra were standing in a house they'd never legally owned, holding foreclosure papers that proved their entire life had been built on my generosity. Tomorrow, I'd call the moving company to collect the belongings that Cassandra had deemed junk. The photo albums, the china, the tools, all the tangible memories of a family that had apparently meant nothing to the woman my son had chosen to build his future with. But tonight, I simply sat in my beautiful new home, surrounded by things that actually belonged to me, owned by me, chosen by me. No one here would ever call my memories junk or put my belongings on the lawn like trash. My phone buzzed with a text from Daniel. Mom, please call me. We need to talk about this. I typed back. Make sure all my junk is off the lawn before the real estate photographer comes Monday. Sometimes the most valuable lesson you can give someone is showing them the difference between what they think they own and what they actually own. And sometimes, the junk they're so eager to throw away turns out to be the foundation their entire world was built on. The foreclosure notice was just the beginning. By Monday morning, they'd learn exactly how much their comfortable life had been worth when someone else was paying for it. And maybe, eventually, Daniel would understand that the real junk wasn't my belongings scattered on the lawn, it was the attitude that made his wife think she could treat family like disposable trash.